Have you ever noticed how your normal expenses quietly grow every year? There's a spreadsheet sitting on my laptop right now with 500 budgets in it. Not made-up numbers, real budgets from real people across the United States and Europe who reached out over the past 2 years asking for help understanding why they couldn't get ahead financially. Teachers, software developers, nurses, marketing managers, accountants, people earning anywhere from $45,000 to $95,000 a year. Some married, some single, some with kids, some without. And after going through every single one of them, I found something I wasn't looking for. Not a spending problem, not a saving problem, not even an income problem. It was something else, something structural. Something that shows up so consistently, it's almost like everyone's following the same invisible script. And the strange part? Most of them had no idea they were doing it. Today, I want to show you what that pattern is, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. And more importantly, you can choose to do something different. Let's talk about it. Let me show you what a typical budget looked like in that spreadsheet. This is Mark. He's 32, lives in Ohio, works in operations for a logistics company, makes $68,000 a year. That sounds pretty decent, right? Middle class, comfortable. But let's do the math. After federal tax, state tax, Social Security, and Medicare, Mark takes home about $51,000. That's $4,250 a month. Now, let's see where that money actually goes. Rent for a two-bedroom apartment, $1,400. He lives alone, but he wanted space, maybe for a home office, maybe to not feel cramped. Fair enough. Car payment, $520 a month. It's a 2021 Honda Accord, financed over 6 years at 6.5% interest. He needed reliable transportation. Everyone in his area drives. Public transit isn't really an option. Car insurance, $180. Gas, $200. Groceries, $400. Utilities and phone, $150. Internet and streaming subscriptions, $85. Student loan payment, $280 a month. He's been paying this since 2015. Credit card minimum payment, $150. Balance sitting around $4,200. Interest rate, 19.9%. Gym membership, $45. Occasional dining out, coffee, social life, $350. We're at $3,760. That leaves Mark with $490 at the end of the month. Except it doesn't, because life happens. The car needs an oil change, a friend's getting married, his mom's birthday, a work trip he has to front, a dental cleaning not fully covered by insurance. So realistically, he's got maybe $200 to $300 left on a good month. And this is someone earning $68,000 a year. Now here's where it gets interesting. When I looked at Mark's budget and hundreds of others like it, I noticed something specific. The order. Everyone structured their budget in the same order, the same sequence of priorities. First, they locked in their fixed costs: rent, car, insurance, loans. Then they funded their lifestyle: food, coffee, subscriptions, social life. And then at the very end, if there was anything left, they'd think about saving or investing. But here's the thing. There's almost never anything left, not because they're irresponsible, not because they're overspending on lattes, but because the structure itself makes saving optional. It treats building wealth as a leftover activity. And this isn't just Mark, this is structural. This is how most people in the middle class are taught to manage money, either explicitly or by example. Pay your bills, live your life, save what's left. The problem? There's a hidden assumption in that model. The assumption is that your income minus your expenses will naturally leave room for your future. But it doesn't, because expenses expand. Rent goes up, cars get financed for longer terms, lifestyle adjusts to income, the credit card balance grows slowly, almost invisibly, and 5 years later, you're still in the same place, or worse. Let me show you what this pattern actually costs. Let's go back to Mark. He's got $200 to $300 left each month. Let's say he manages to save $250. Over a year, that's $3,000. Over 10 years, that's $30,000. Now, that sounds like something, but remember, this is cash sitting in a savings account earning maybe 0.5% interest, maybe 4% if he's lucky and shops around for a high-yield account. Meanwhile, let's talk about what he's actually paying. That car, $520 a month over 6 years, Total paid $37,440 for a car that was worth $28,000 when he bought it. He's paying $9,440 in interest alone. That credit card, minimum payments of $150 a month on a $4,200 balance at 19.9% interest. If he only pays minimums, it'll take him over 6 years to pay off, and he'll pay nearly $2,800 in interest. Added up, he's paying over $12,000 in interest on things that don't grow in value. But here's the part that really matters. If Mark had just put $400 a month into a basic index fund, starting at age 25, by age 55, assuming a conservative 7% annual return, he'd have over $500,000. But he didn't, because the structure of his financial life made that impossible. Not because he was reckless, but because paying for the present always came first. So why does this happen? Why do intelligent, hard-working people structure their money this way? Because it feels responsible. Paying your rent on time feels responsible. Making your car payment feels responsible. Covering your minimums feels responsible. And it is. You're not defaulting, you're not getting evicted, you're keeping your credit score intact. But responsibility and wealth building aren't the same thing. Responsibility is about meeting obligations. Wealth building is about creating options. And here's the hidden trap. When you structure your budget around obligations first, you train yourself to think in terms of what I owe instead of what I'm building. Your financial identity becomes about keeping up, not getting ahead. There's also something else going on. Most people treat their lifestyle as fixed and their future as flexible. The apartment can't downsize. That would feel like going backwards. The car can't drive something older. What would people think? The social life can't cut back. That's not really living. But retirement, investing, building wealth, that's flexible. That can wait. There's always next year. Except next year, the rent's higher, the car's older and needs more repairs, the credit card balance is bigger, and the cycle continues. Here's what I noticed in the small percentage of budgets that looked different. They didn't have higher incomes. Some earned less than Mark, but they structured their money in reverse. They paid themselves first, not as a leftover, as a priority. Let me show you what that looks like. This is Ben. He's 29, lives in Berlin, works in IT support, makes 42,000 euros a year, which is about $45,000. After taxes, he takes home around 2,500 euros a month. First thing Ben does, he automatically transfers 400 euros into a separate investment account every month before he sees it. That's 16% of his take-home. Then he lives on what's left. Rent, 1,000 euros for a smaller one-bedroom in a less trendy neighborhood. No car, uses public transit, and occasionally rents a car when needed. Groceries, 250 euros. Utilities and phone, 80 euros. Health insurance, because Germany, covered mostly through his employer contributions, minimal out-of-pocket. One streaming service, 12 euros. Social life and discretionary, 300 euros. He's got about 558 euros left for everything else. Irregular expenses, emergency buffer, whatever. Is Ben's life less comfortable than Mark's? In some ways, yes. Smaller apartment, no car, fewer subscriptions. But here's the thing. Ben is building 4,800 euros a year consistently. Over 10 years, assuming 7% returns, that's over 66,000 euros. By age 50, if he keeps this up, he's looking at over 500,000 euros. Ben isn't depriving himself. He's choosing differently. He's treating his future as non-negotiable and his lifestyle as adjustable. So what's the actual difference here? It's not about budgeting harder. It's not about discipline. It's about sequence. Most people ask, how much can I save after I live my life? Financially intelligent people ask, how do I live well after I've secured my future? It's a subtle difference, but it changes everything. Because when you pay yourself first, your lifestyle adjusts. You find a slightly cheaper apartment. You keep the car longer. You skip the subscription you don't really use. Not because you're suffering, but because the constraint is real. The money is already gone to your future self. And here's the part most people don't realize. After a few months, you don't feel it. Your life adjusts, you adapt, and the investments keep growing quietly in the background. But when you save last, there's no constraint. There's always a reason to spend a little more, and your future keeps getting pushed back. I'm not saying everyone needs to live like Ben. Maybe you genuinely need the car. Maybe the bigger apartment makes sense for your situation. But the pattern I found in those 500 budgets wasn't about the specifics, it was about the structure. And the structure most people follow makes wealth building almost impossible, not because they're bad with money, but because the system itself puts their future last. If you take one thing from this, let it be this. Your financial future isn't what's left over, it's what you decide is non-negotiable. Everything else adjusts around it. Subscribe.